Rita Fan, what a pleasure to see you.
My pleasure too.
There are different voices coming out as we are seeing Hong Kong marking the 25th anniversary of the return to the motherland. Some suggest there is a delicate balance between two systems and one country. Sometimes the balance is ticking toward one direction, not necessarily the other. Mrs. Fan, what is your take about that philosophical yet very pragmatic question?
Well, actually, the first thing I think it is one country, two system. One country come before the two system because Hong Kong is part of China. It has been so for, for umpteen years. Although we were once ruled by a colonial government, the British colonial government, Hong Kong always belonged to China. So we must always put that balance in the right order. One country, two system. Without the one country, the two system have no meaning at all. So having said that, of course, there are always some adjustments or slight changes um, in the sort of practical day-to-day situation in view of the various uh, forces at work, not only in our community, in the little Hong Kong, but internationally. Uh, in a way, rightly or wrongly, Hong Kong has always been um, in the gaze of Western countries. And of course, our motherland just loves us, wants to help Hong Kong, protect Hong Kong. Now, so the thing happens is when there is a situation, then there needs to be some change, something to ensure that Hong Kong can develop normally.
How do you see Hong Kong will be able to maintain its vitality under a very different circumstance, both internationally and certainly when it comes to different development stage of China?
Mhm. Yes, now the different development stage of China is helpful to Hong Kong because we can participate in full in the development, such as the development of the Greater Bay Area, the development of uh, the One Belt, One Road. Mm-hmm. Now, we can participate in that, but Hong Kong need to strive. We need to offer the right kind of service that they need. The project's needs, such as adjudication in law, in cases, legal cases, improving our IT and innovation skills and research and so on. This is one side. And on this side, I think we could try to do the best, not only us, but most importantly, our young people. There is another side, the West, under the leadership of the United States. I'm afraid they have made up their mind that they would not allow China to grow properly. And Hong Kong is an easy target. So I'm afraid that maybe from time to time, while we are doing well, suddenly there will be some measure which would hinder us or even cause loss to Hong Kong's normal operation. That is not something we can control. That is something we have to live with. But when you have pressure from outside, one of the things that our people should develop is a feeling of danger. Because there is danger, we have to do better. We have to make ourselves stronger. I hope the pressure from outside will help us to develop that kind of positive attitude towards life, towards problem, and towards challenges.
Mrs. Fan, you worked constructively during different periods of time over the past 25 years since the SAR government functions in Hong Kong. Now, how do you see the historical tasks and responsibilities of various generations of them? I know we do not want to reflect history only, but rather focusing on the future, and also your thoughts, therefore.
We have already started to do some changes in our education because our people, our youngsters have been misled. We want to give them the fair and true picture. The choice is theirs. We never try to change their choice, but I believe they should know the facts. The other thing is, of course, Hong Kong has to pick up in all areas. The future development. How are we going to connect with the Greater Bay Area? As you all know, Shenzhen is growing fantastically and its GDP has passed Hong Kong a few years ago. We have to catch up and we have to work together in order to regain the Hong Kong's position in this part of the world. So there's a lot of work to be done. But one thing which is very important, Hong Kong people, we all have to realize one thing, and that is we are Chinese citizens living in Hong Kong. And therefore, we want to make Hong Kong better for our own livelihood, and we also want to contribute to our country so that we could become even more prosperous.
You talk about identity for people in Hong Kong. First of all, you are Chinese, citizens of the People's Republic of China. However, there's also a great history throughout the development of the Hong Kong. How do you see Hong Kong's cultural identity and also Hong Kong's belonging to the bigger family of People's Republic of China?
Well, if I could put it in another way, is Hong Kong is now an adolescent growing up with our brothers. Hopefully, the whole household would become more prosperous and more influential. But Hong Kong had been taken away from the family by force when Hong Kong was young. And therefore, we were given a different set of values. And when we come back, we have to have this adjustment. It's a kind of cultural adjustment, it's a kind of getting to know our brothers. And that takes time. And that also need to have some conscientious efforts.
Now, Mrs. Fan, one of the biggest challenges for the SAR government in Hong Kong is to deal with a balance of security, health for the people in Hong Kong with the balance of economic development, bringing vitality, and also try to make Hong Kong the connecting point between China and the rest of the world, China and the region, with the pandemic challenge. So the imminent capabilities of Hong Kong in that regard will be very soon tested against this backdrop. How do you see the best ways to do this, given your rich knowledge dealing with Hong Kong's history and also the recent history of Hong Kong SAR?
Yes, this is actually a very, very difficult balance. On the one hand, we want to keep our people healthy. And yet, on the other hand, Hong Kong is an economy that we needed communication and travel between Hong Kong and the rest of the world, especially the rest of our country, China. So we have been trying to do that very hard. And so far, I think we have been sort of, I don't think we have been successful, but we have not been unsuccessful either, in the sense that our people's health have been protected. I just yesterday had one confirmed case of COVID-19 in the block that I'm living. So we went downstairs this morning after the clear sort of communication from the management office to take the test. Every one of us, but we can do that in our own time. There's 8 hours, and we just do it during the 8 hours. That's one thing. What the government is trying to do, our health people are trying to do, is to find the source. And once you find the source, you stop the uh, the line of contamination.